Deadrock is back, and we start off with Class 1F, and they have a new homeroom teacher, Shara, which is a descendant of the Great Heavenly Buddha, the Monkey King from the Chinese legend. Choco, for some reason, she thinks it's funny that his name is Monkey and he is a monkey, and starts to make fun of him, but then he just glares at her and she basically pisses her pants and says sorry. So he then mentions that they decided to go on a rampage in the arena. They say, no, that was Yakuto. He did that. And of course, he doesn't care because one of their classmates did it and the entire class should be punished. And he summons basically a bunch of monkey temples on them and crushes them and then just leaves. So Yakuto shows back up finally. Apparently it's been 3 days since he was taken away. But he's back now and he finds them all being crushed. Of course, they're all asking for help at the same time blaming him for it because technically it's his fault. He transforms his arm to his dragon arm and he smashes all of the rocks. Makoto comments on how powerful his black dragon actually is, and Yakuto responds by saying, yeah, but this is all I got left. So, while he was captured by Lilith, she took most of his dragon power. How did she do that? Well, she's a succubus, so she literally just gave a blowjob for 3 days. I am not joking. She's literally removing cum from her mouth in one of the panels. This would be crude if it wasn't for the fact that she is a succubus. That's literally what they do. So, okay, that's fine and all. But, Jesus. Didn't think we would go as graphic as her literally showing her have cum in her mouth. But yeah, she left him only enough power to transform his arm. That's it. Yakuto then explains how he has a lead on how to find God's weakness, and says that it's basically in this library that apparently has every book in the underworld in it. And of course, he demands all of their helps, like he always does, because he's a psychopath. And literally everyone turns him down. Straight up everyone except for Farai. She wants to kill Laozen, so obviously she's in on killing God as well. But literally everybody else says, no, fuck that, we have no interest in that. In fact, at a certain point, some of them even threaten to kill Yakuto himself, because threatening God would mean threatening the school, in which case means they can't graduate from it, and that's kind of the whole point why they're there. So at a certain point, they demand to actually know his real reason. Why does he want to kill God so much? Realizing that he's not going to get any help from them if he doesn't actually explain himself, because they are outright rejecting him, and not just that, but threatening to kill him, Yakuto finally explains himself. We go back 10 years when Yakuto was a little kid in the Black Dragon village. And apparently, Yakuto's dad is one of the more important dragons that exist. In fact, he's probably the most important dragon. His name is Yakuto, and he's actually one of God's personal soldiers. He's also very affectionate towards his family. As soon as he sees his son after he's back from his trip, he then immediately grabs him and hugs him and does that. So yeah, him and Yakuto are close. But the man is a little too affectionate because as soon as his wife tells him to let go of their son, he then jumps on her and starts licking her face. He literally licks his wife's face. Not kissing, licking. It's really gross. And the creepy thing is, she basically says don't do that in public, but you can save it for when we're alone. Which means he's used to licking his wife's face. Oh, God. The point is, he takes that as a cue as, okay, then we should be alone, grabs his wife, and basically goes off to have sex with her. Whatever. That's fine, they're a married couple. The licking was just off-putting is all. Yeah, so we learned that what he does for a living for God he's not his bodyguard or anything like that, because God is the strongest. No, what he is basically, the Inquisition is the best way to put it. He kills non-believers. That's his job. God apparently gets his power from worship, and so if there aren't anyone worshiping him, then that, of course, harms God. And so you gotta make sure that the people are worshiping by getting rid of the non-believers. So, yeah, in this world, if you don't believe in God, he sends dragons to kill you. I guess it's better than what they do in 40k. One night, God just shows up to the dragon village, and all the dragons are excited to see him. They're all happy he's there. They're all cheering. He then calls upon Yakuto's dad. He shows his face. He introduces his wife. God really thinks she's hot. Basically says that he's going to have a night with her. Yeah, so he doesn't like that, as you can imagine. And he assumes that God is making a joke, a sick one at that, but he's not. He basically says he's going to do what he wants with her, and he promises to give her back with, most of her limbs. Yakuto's father then points out that he's not acting like himself, this doesn't seem right, and of course, God says, well, if you're going to go against me, then you're going against God, and decides to wipe out the entire dragon village. He calls it God's Hurricane, the attack. What it is just a fuck ton of tornadoes that rip through everything and everyone. Everyone is just shredded. And as Yakuto's father is dying, he asked, who are you? Which heavily implies that this guy probably killed God and took his spot. Which does not surprise me in any way, shape, or form. I theorize this basically at chapter 1. long ago, and it's been hinted at that he's killed other gods basically in the last chapter. So yeah, this guy most likely just purged his way through as many gods as possible and took the top spot. Now, this doesn't mean that he's not the original god that he served from the beginning. He could have just been biding his time till he was strong enough to take out the other gods. But either way, that's basically what happened. This dude slaughtered all the gods and made himself ruler of everything. Now, this is the question that you gotta ask yourself. Will any of them actually join Yakuto after hearing this story? Honey, I believe, will probably join. So, Freya and Honey, that's it. I don't see the others joining. I can't imagine it. Like, Makoto, very calculating woman, very twisted. I can't see her even trying to oppose God. She knows her limits. Ryzen is slave, basically, so there's no way in hell he's joining if Makoto isn't. As for Hain, I don't think he's going to join at first, but I do think he'll be able to be convinced because Yakuto was the one who saved him in the anthill. So Yakuto might be able to basically shame him into working with him. But yeah, Makoto is going to be the last to join because she's going to be the hardest one to convince. And even then, there's still a 50-50 chance she's probably going to betray him in the end anyway. Just saying. It really depends on just how sympathetic she is towards Yakuto, which I have doubts if she has any. Alright, if you enjoyed this video, please subscribe, give it a thumbs up so you can enjoy more Deadrock and other anime things. Thank you, and have a great day.